This video talks you through the various stages of subtracting fractions from easy ones to stinky rat bags. The simplest subtraction of fractions is where you have fractions with the same denominator. Here we've got a pizza with 5/7 shaded in, and we're going to take away 2/7. So because the denominators are the same, we can just keep the denominator as 7 and just do the taking away of the numerators. So if I get my rubber out here, I've got 5/7 shaded in. I'm going to get rid of 2 of them. So I have 3/7 left over. So just take the numerator. So with this example here, the denominators are the same. It stays as 9. 8 take away 3 on the top would give you 5. 5/9 is the answer. For this slightly harder one, we've got denominators which are different, but you can convert one denominator into the other. For this first example, I would change 3/5 into tenths by timesing the top and the bottom by 2. So 3/5 turns into 6/10. Now the denominator is the same. This is easy. You just take away the numerators. 6 take 1 is 5, giving us 5/10, which we can simplify by dividing the top and the bottom by 5 into a half. Looking at the bottom one, I can change 1/4 into 8 by timesing the top and the bottom by 2. My 1/4 becomes 2/8. Now doing the takeaway sum, my denominators are now the same. I've got my 1/8 on the bottom. 3/8 take 2/8 would give us 1/8. The rat bags are ones where you have denominators where you cannot change one straight into another by using your converting skills. So just as we did with adding, we're going to times them together. So both of these are going to become 24ths. For the first fraction, I times by 6 to get 24 on the bottom, which means times by 6 on the top. For the second fraction, I times by 4 on the bottom to get 24, so I have to times the top by 4 as well. So converting these fractions, this one will become 18/24, this one will become 4/24. Doing the takeaway sum, now I've got the same denominator, I keep my 24 on the bottom, and I get 14/24 on the top. I can simplify this by dividing by 2, which will give me 7/12. Looking at the one at the bottom, I times the denominators together to give me a denominator of 18. To change 7/9 into 18ths, I times the top and the bottom by 2. To change a half into 18ths, I times the top and the bottom by 9. So the first fraction becomes 14/18, the second fraction becomes 9/18. My denominators are the same, so I keep that as an 18th. 14 take 9 gives 5. 5/18 is my answer, which I can't simplify. Moving on to the stinky rat bags. Now this is where it's different to adding. We're so used with adding to adding up the two whole numbers and then adding up the fractions. This doesn't necessarily work, so it's best to get into a slightly different habit. What you must do is change these into improper fractions first. So I'm going to work out this one as an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4, add on 1 is 5, so 2½ is worth 5 halves. This one here, I'm going to times the 1 by the 8 to give me 8, add 5 is 13. 13/8. Now I can go ahead and do the taking away. I'm faced with a problem where I've got two denominators which are different. I can change this one into 8 times the top and the bottom by 4, which will give me 20/8. And now I can do my takeaway sum. 8 on the bottom, 20 take away 13 is 7. So my answer is 7/8. So let's look at one more example. Okay, this one here, we've got thirds, we've got fifths. First of all, change them to improper. So 3 times 3 is 9, add on 1 will give you 10/3. That's equivalent to 3 1/3, but it's a top-heavy improper fraction. For this one here, 2 times 5 is 10, plus the 1 extra fifth will give me 11/5. To take these away, I need the denominator to be the same. Now I can't change thirds into fifths and I can't change fifths into thirds, so I'm going to times the two numbers together to give me 15ths. How do I change this to 15ths? I times the bottom by 5, so I have to times the top by 5, and that will give me 50 fifteenths. Over here, how do I change this into fifteenths? Well, I have to times the bottom by 3, so I times the top by 3. And that will give me 15 on the bottom and 33 on the top. The denominators are now the same, so I get 15 on the bottom. 50 take away 33 will give me 17 fifteenths. This is still a top-heavy fraction, so I can convert back into mixed. I get 1 whole out of 15 of the fifteenths, and I've got 2 fifteenths left. So 1 and 2 fifteenths is my answer.